Well, good evening everybody. Welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online. And we are back for another match in the World Series of Pool 9-ball tournament. It's a winner's side match. Quick look at the bracket. It is a third round match between Billybigrigger and Sergeresh. It's the only match that I can see in the bracket that's scheduled for tonight. There's other matches. There's a fourth round match that is set for a couple of days' time between Cobra and Cheeky Chico. That's at 7 PM. I'll be there for that one. On the one loss side, quick glimpse through that. Don't know what the hell happened there. Anyway, we've got again in a couple of days' time. I think that's an hour before the Cobra match. We've got Shibo against Linus on the one loss side. And we've got another one between Squirter and Mr. Strokum, which I think is, it's tomorrow morning at 2 AM. I, needless to say, won't be there for that. I'm back at work. And I think that is about it. That covers that. So, all we're doing now is waiting on the room to go up, which will be about a minute away. Good evening to Polamint. Good evening to WizKid. And we may get a few more viewers joining us. These, I don't think I've ever played any of these guys. I might have played with Billybigrigger in the challenge room at one time or other, but I don't think I've ever played Sergeresh. But I'm pretty sure they're sort of an intermediary level. Certainly not at the same level as the last match we saw, but I'm still expecting some decent 9-ball. The room is up, my cloth colour's at the right colour, and we're in first. Good evening to Tommy. Spectre's there. So, they're both in, and we go for the lag. And remember again, I keep just doing a quick refresh on the setup for this tournament. It's standard 9-ball, but it is winner breaks. Sorry, not winner breaks. I correct that. It's alternate break. The winner of the lag gets to choose who breaks. Usually they break anyway. And Sergeresh has won that. It's alternate break. There are no jump queues. And it's a race to 18. And off we go, and as is the tradition, same in the last match we watched, it's a dry break. Now that looks as if it can be locked up, that cue ball. I don't know whether the one actually goes, but it might be that he can, he could just squeeze it past. Yeah, well, I won't be hanging around too long after this match is over. Well, after a good solid first pot there by Billybigrigger, failed in a 2. Now that 3-ball doesn't go, but obviously you just need to push it on to the 8. Fairly gentle. And he's not read that at all. Well, that'll send the 3-ball onto the top rail if he hits it gentle enough, but he's hit it way too hard. The touch has got to be a lot lighter than that in order to keep that 3 ball from squirting away. It could have been a good safety there. So there's a little bit more of a deft touch required here for some of the shots. The idea with that shot there is you can only see the one edge of that ball, and the 3 ball would have been easy to rest onto the short rail and then run the cue ball for cover at distance. And that's 6 ball, and that looks extremely tight from there. But he's given himself half a chance. Now where's Messi going to, and who can afford him? Well, that was a little billiard off the edge of the 6 to knock the 8 ball in. Now is Billybigrigger going to be able to follow this through? Let's just remind ourselves where these players are both listed from. According to that, Sergeresh is from Belarus. Now I think Billybigrigger's Canadian. Yes, he is. Well, what age is he anyway? Is he not about 33 now, Messi? He's knocking on to the pensioner age group at the top end professional level. So Billybigrigger finally gets off the mark. Good enough break. But once again, 2 in a row. Both dry. I don't think the one goes. It doesn't go. Certainly not obviously past the 2. It's a bit dicey into the middle. The cue ball needs to keep running if he's going to have a shot in this too. And the other thing is, if you look at the angle he's got, he could bank this, and he could actually pot it into the middle. The problem with that shot there was that, where he's going to collide with a ball, but the line it had, if he thin cut that with pace, he could have probably gotten round that way for the 3 ball there. Bit ambitious, but playing the bank was never really going to get him there. And Billybigrigger is going to have ball in hand. Immediate problem is the 4 ball. Now, can he push that 4 ball onto the side rail and just catch the 9 and knock it in? That's probably his only option he's going to have. Yeah, I watched it. Celtic scored their 3rd goal, promptly brought on 3 subs and then lost the next goal. There were 3-2 up at the time when I left it. Well, he tried the combo. I don't even know where that team's from, but they must be one of the Scandinavian countries. It was quite light and bright where it was. Well, Sergeresh, I think, has got away with that one. Yeah, not obviously difficult to hit, but there's no saying where this 4's going to end up. Is it? Is it Czechoslovakia? Well, it's not Czechoslovakia now, isn't it? It's whatever the hell it's called. Is it Czech Republic now it's called? Now can he see this full in the face just to punch it? No, he can't. Been easy to punch that 4 ball around the table and just tie that cue ball up there. Again, it's still not difficult to hit the 4. Ideally, you want to try and get a line. You want to actually try and get a line like that to hit the 4 so you can hit it full in the face. That way you could maybe send the 4 up the table and leave the cue ball in amongst those balls, but he went the opposite way. And now he's left it on, albeit a thin one. Good evening. Good evening to Hairpig and Sid and Semi-Pro. Well, I got a nice email the other day from Dwight, the Canadian, or IQ2, the guy who plays predominantly plays snooker, I believe. And he was saying how he enjoys watching the stream. He doesn't generally watch it live, I don't think. He could be watching it live, I don't know, but he says he doesn't generally watch it live. He watches them once they're up on Twitch or Facebook. And he was just saying how much he enjoyed them, which is appreciated. Thanks for that. Welcome to Popman. Billybigrigger goes 2-0 up. So nothing between these two players as far as the rating goes, but like I said earlier, they're a level below the top players in this tournament. I mean, he can still pot a ball. But it's who's going to find their feet and get themselves into this, the meat of this match. We're well away from that yet, so anything can happen, but even so, Sergeresh is 2-0 down, doesn't want to go very much further behind, and he's got a good chance here. Now, you know what I keep saying, get distance. And that's going to be awkward over the 6 ball. Even that's a good enough safety. Well, I've not seen an awful lot of Sergeresh play. But Sergeresh is going to have to do a bit of work. But things like that don't help. Can he get there? He can't get to the 4. But had he been on that 4 ball, he had the angle to come down, get on the 5. The 6, of course, then would be the problem. And now Billybigrigger's going to have that issue. And he may well he could end up below the 5 ball here, and if he does on the right hand side, he could put Sergeresh in trouble. The way the line of this cue ball is going to go, it may well come over to this bottom right side. Now you see the line that it's going, he's actually hit it softer. He could have finished lower than that, he'd have risked scratching, but he can still put Sergeresh in trouble unless he wants to try and line up this combo. And that was the thing that is just preventing that 5 ball squirting away too far. And now it's a delicate little cut, but just got to try and hold the cue ball, but he's not got much room for manoeuvre. He's gone for the bank, and that will do. Nine ball's going to go in anyway, provided it was a legal shot, and it was. So now, at this early stage of the match, there's a crisis on for Sergeresh. He has to find a way to get off the mark. Imperative that he does. And this table is there for the taking, even though the 5's a wee bit awkward. He's improved that situation. And the one to worry about if he gets that far is going to be the 6 ball, because that 6 ball is very close to the rail, and if you're playing it at any distance, it makes the shot even more difficult. And this is going to be a problem also. He's going to be right over the 6 ball, I think. Doesn't have to do an awful lot with the cue ball. In actual fact, it'd have been better to try and keep it in that gap between the 6 and the 7. And the reason for that is it would have been a narrower angle, a shallower angle than he has here, where the cue ball's going all over the place, to try and get somewhere onto this 6 ball. This is really difficult. And that's why, well, he'll take that. And now he's got a straight in 6 ball. Well, that might be he has to make the most of that. I mean, if he's got that fluke, he's got to take this home to get his first rack on the board. But whatever luck you can get, grab it with both hands and make the most of it. That's the golden rule there. And now the other problem is getting onto this 9. The angle he's got in the 8, he's trying to just nurse it in, and he's going to leave a thin cut on the 9. A quick look at the angle, and then play the shot. Watch the cue ball though, don't get carried away. And so with that little helping fluke there, Sergeresh has got himself onto the scoreboard. The cue ball's going loose though, so the advantage you had with the break there is diminished straight away with the break not getting a hold of the cue ball. And Billybigrigger, well, he can roll the one up the table. I don't know why he's playing a 1-8 combo. I mean, I don't know why he did that. I mean, look at where the cue ball's gone now. See, that is somebody not thinking at all there. He could have rolled the one up the left rail, 2 balls onto the top right hand corner, and that would have been simple enough. You didn't have to play that combo. But at the end of the day, no matter how you do it, as long as you get it done is what counts. And this will be a bonus, and it will hurt Sergeresh after having, okay, got a helping hand to win that rack, but he's blowed it straight away with the break in the next rack, and Billybigrigger's got the chance to eliminate that, effectively eliminate that first rack that Sergeresh has got. This is a little tester. And he's going to get cover, I think. Yep. Now he's got to bank. He's got to kick this from that side, pick the line. Big target, that 4 ball. And that's probably the only place he didn't want the cue ball to finish. But it's a thin cut into the middle, and I don't know whether he can avoid hitting the 6 ball with this line. Well, he has avoided it. You see, the problem is he's hit it far too hard. He had to be gentler than that. He's still got a chance though. Oh, he's hung it. Again, the weight of shot is just too heavy. That's not the line to have in the 7 ball. So, got to find the weight of shot a bit better here. Still early stages in the match, still a chance to do that. And the straighter this 8 ball or this 7 ball goes, the worse it is to get onto the 9. I like the pace in this. I like the pace. Well, he couldn't have played that any better. And so Billybigrigger opens the gap to 3 again. And with the break as well. And this time we have success on the break. Couple of balls have gone in. We've lost the 2 and the 8. No shot other than a possible bank on the 1. Now the issue is, of course, with that line, no way to ensure you're ever going to get a shot in the 3 ball, but you can push the 3 to the 7. Now the line he should be taking, again, push the 3 to the 7 and thin the cue ball down this end. Again, he's far too heavy with the shot. He could have played that much better. It needed to be thinner and lighter, and that 3 ball wouldn't have come out into the open. So there's a little, that's what's lacking here, a bit of finesse in some of these shots. Just a bit too heavy-handed. But Sergeresh won't be bothered about that. If he can pinch this rack, he's got no reason why he can't. This is the toughest shot he's going to have. And once again, anything but straight on this 7 ball, so that you can get out for the 9. And if it stays close to the rail, that will be perfect. That is a perfect little line, just to sneak out behind the 9. So the gap down to 2, and this time Sergeresh has to get a break where he doesn't scratch. Well, it's kicked by the 6 ball there. Cue ball still in play. Ball in the break. 7 balls gone. Half a shot in the 1 at this close distance. It's picking that line, but he should be able to just draw back for the 2. And now, provided he gets the 2 and the 3, he has to be out into the table. It has to be this sort of line to get that 4 ball. And he has to have a quick look at that before he pots this 3 to make sure he's given himself the room. He doesn't want to get into this cue ball too much. Now the problem is, where does he go once he hits this 9 ball? Again, can't get into this too much. Well, this is, again, fairly straight. And Sergeresh, again, not spending enough time in the shot to look at the line that ball was taken. The draw was always going to bring it towards the 9. I think he had to go forward and force it around the angles if he could have. And his chance may well have come and gone. because of that. And that has definitely gone now. And that's how you end up looking a bit of a numpty when you do stuff like that. Just playing a draw shot to a ball that's in the line of the crack of the cue ball when you're drawing it is doomed to failure. He certainly didn't get into it enough for a start. And he's gifted the rack to Billybigrigger there with that effort. So we're into rack number 8. Now, I think he's landed pretty well behind that 8 ball. Easy to kick the one. The danger is if you hit it on the right side of the one as we look, you can thin it and scratch from it. He's managed to avoid that. And he's left nothing on for his opponent. Although he could try and get really cheeky here and skim that one and drop behind the 3. A feather's edge of this 1 ball and drop behind the 3 ball. Well, he did his best there, but even that shot was still, first of all, too thick and just a wee bit too heavy. There's a noticeable slight issue for Billybigrigger the way I'm looking at him. His mouse isn't fully dialed in, I can tell. He may well have his sensitivity a bit too high, and he can't get those little lighter shots that you need to be able to play in this game. He's running a wee bit heavy in 2 or 3 of the shots. That's been a bit nitpicky, but it's easy to pick it up when the shot required there was the thinner edge in the 3 and a softer touch, and you would have got there. But anyway, he has his chance though to stretch the lead. And Sergeresh is going to have to tighten up. And again, another thing I've talked about in the past as well, you can't be one-dimensional. You have to use everything, all the strategy you can. Weigh up the percentages of a particular shot. Decide if there's any value in it. Because at the end of the day, you're only shooting yourself in the foot if you're going to keep giving up too many chances for your opponent. You're trailing 5-2. You've got to try and stay in the game. And this could be an issue. Hampered by the 8. And he's played that with a lot of English to force the cue ball into the line on the right side. And that's the way to punish your opponent. Run the table, give him the chance. Sergeresh to break now. Rack number 9. He gets a ball. Once again, he's got no shot. Well, you can't push up the table. If he pushes up the table to here where he's going, Billybigrigger's probably going to cut the one on towards the 3. Mind you, looking at the 3, the 3's on the point. It's maybe not a bad push out now that I've had a second look at it. But all the balls are on. that's a couple of feet short of where it should have been. Sergeresh has a chance. I think he needs to slow up a wee bit just to steady the ship here and make the most of this one. And he has to just, the line he's got in the two, he's just running away. Just needs to make sure, see again he's putting lots of stuff in the cue ball to hold the line. There was a big area to get into there, even though it was a narrow window. It's a big area to get to that side rail, and he's putting loads of stuff in the cue ball to bring that cue ball into line, and that's why he's missed the two. There's far too many unforced errors happening here for Sergeresh. And now he's got another go, and he's got a similar problem here. He's just, I mean, if the line is straight in the two, then he should just kill the cue ball. And now he's ended up dead straight, and if he tries to pinch this too much, he could just leave it rattling in the jaws, because the four's over on the opposite rail. I think he just needs to stun this in and run along, and that's not the shot, I'm afraid. That is not the way to do it, Sergeresh. You had to stun that in and just squeeze the cue ball over towards the 6. That is entirely wrong. The wrong way to play that shot. And there's chances coming and going. As quick as he's getting them, he's throwing them away. So he's got a fair few things to work on, Sergeresh, from what we've seen so far. But that shot they had there with the 6, or whatever the hell ball it was. What ball was it? Was it the 3? That needed to be stunned in to squeeze as much out of that line that he had there. Well, I think he could have stunned it slightly, but even then, even if he couldn't stun it a lot, all he had to do was pot it and leave himself a long shot on the 4, rather than drawing the cue ball up the table to nowhere. That just doesn't give yourself, you've got to give yourself a chance. And again, it's about taking stock of the situation, weighing up what you have available to you. What can I do with this cue ball? Simply drawing it up the table to a nowhere position on a ball that's stuck to the rail is no good. Very little thought put into it. I'm being critical simply because the main thing I talk about half the time is actually think about what you're doing. And to do something like that is just plain silly. And racks are leaking away here. He needs to get himself settled. Did he end up winning that one now that I'm talking? What is it, 6-2? 6-3? Now again, with this shot here, all you have to do is pot the 2. You're on the 3. Now with this shot, there's no shot in the 4 into this pocket. And again, he's trying to work miracles with the cue ball, which is causing him to miss the ball on. That's 2 shots he's done that. He's trying to do too much with the cue ball. Oh, he banked that 4. Aye, well, give him his dues, he got it, but as I say, it wasn't the way to go about it. You've got to make your life simple as you can. And this has gone wrong. Now, again, he can see a thin edge. He just needs to brush that. He can finish up behind. Well, why is he looking there? Surely he can see the edge of the 4. Maybe not. I didn't get there quick enough. But if he could have seen the edge of that 4, he could have brushed off the 4 and hid behind 8 and 9. But maybe it wasn't there at all. Anyway, Billybigrigger, his problem starts now. This 6 ball close to the rail. And he's going to have to punch this in if he wants to get the cue ball out into play. Excuse me. So this is the one that's the toughest shot he's going to have. Not only potting the 7, but somehow getting this cue ball out of that corner and up the table somewhere so he can at least see the 8 ball. Need to get the amp on. Well, he's done his best, and at least he can see the 8 ball. But that was pretty straight and not much to work with. And again, you're trying to be delicate. I mean, it's tough at any distance, dragging the pace off the cue ball. And Sergeresh can get back to within 2 again. Now let's see if he can get a hold of this cue ball in this break. Now that's better. 1 ball's going to go in. 2 balls dead. Well, he may well go for the bank. 2 balls off the rail. It's a reasonable line for the bank. And this time he isn't interested. Well, you would think whoever gets the 2 should be taking the rack. And I'm a bit surprised that Sergeresh didn't go for the bank there, because the 2 ball was off the rail. And it was a good line to play the bank shot. And he's given Billybigrigger his chance. Well, he's got a slight angle, and at best he could stun the 3 in and try and fall into a line on the 4 into the middle. He stunned it way too much. And now Sergeresh should be out his seat ready to go here. Just trying to push the 4 to the rail, and that's a good shot. The only problem is he hasn't got it to the rail. And Sergeresh has ball in hand, trying to get in behind it to squeeze it into the middle. Good evening to Cobra, and welcome to anybody else who's joined. Well, this is an important rack for Sergeresh, and immediately he's got that problem getting up the table. Well, if it stops before the 8, he'll have a shot, but unfortunately he's found the only place you don't want to be. Well, he's got a good chance of kicking this in, and that's well played. Now, how's it going? It needs to keep going. Another testy one, but this cue ball's going to go square here, and that would have went squarer than that if he'd actually potted the 7. And his chance has gone again. Well, all you do is make sure you don't draw into the middle pocket. And Sergeresh had a glimmer there to get back to within one, and it's disappeared as quickly as it came. So 7 racks to 4 in favour of the Canadian. 7 ball into the left middle. Shot in the one. Now, again, have a quick look at the angle. Well, he could just nurse this 1 ball in just so he can drop through for the 2 up table. As long as he goes far enough, he'll have a straighter shot in the 2. But again, he's gone too far. See, that is more evidence of where the touch isn't quite there. This is 3 or 4 shots Billybigrigger's played where he's too heavy. He didn't want to be on that rail there for that 2 ball. It just makes your life harder when you don't quite get it into the spot. And this is another tester. And to get good at this game, you have to be able to put the cue ball into a tighter spot. And by that I mean, getting it into a much narrower area, which gives you the better line on that next ball. It's no good just going into a big area to get on the next ball. It's much better having better control in the cue ball, which gives you better lines each time to get on the next ball. So tightening up that pace control on shots and certain little shots is what's needed. And as I say, those 3 or 4 shots I've seen a Billybigrigger where they just need a wee bit more defter touch. It's a bit too heavy, but that all simply comes down to how well you dial your mouse in as to how confident you have with the control over the mouse in executing a shot. The best guys do it better because that's what they've done. Sergeresh. Well, the match is threatening to drift away. He's kept in touch the last couple of racks, but it's threatening to drift away from him here. I'll say that again. Billybigrigger can pinch this one from this chance. Welcome to Cheeky Chico. Well, it's safe to say none of these 2 guys here are going to threaten the tournament. I've got no doubt about that. They're going to run into trouble very soon, whoever comes through this match. So Billybigrigger's now 8-4 in front. Let's have a quick look at this bracket, just to see what that entails. Well, we've got Bedhead and Spectre Dawn to play. Now, this match that's on at the moment, the winner will go through to play either Bankster or Hazard. It's more than likely going to be Bankster from what I've heard. I believe that Hazard's stuck in Spain again, and he's more than likely going to forfeit, was the last that I heard. I think Popman said that. So the winner will play Bankster, and Bankster, of course, is probably maybe a similar level, but I think that Bankster uses his head far better, even though when I see him in Friday Night 9-ball he's usually getting a fair handicap. And I think Bankster could give whoever wins this match a fair game. And it wouldn't surprise me if Bankster won it. But at the moment it's Billybigrigger who's looking like favourite. once again, with this shot, you can come down the bottom of the table, or you can draw into it slightly to kill the pace and come around the angle. But again, Sergeresh is guilty of the same thing, trying to do far too much with the cue ball when there's a line there that you can take. Why put loads of stuff in the cue ball when you've got a line that you can work with, when you've got an angle that you can work with? And he could have drawn that into the two rails in the top right hand corner to come around and out. But when you start checking the cue ball to prevent it going all sorts of directions, you're making the shot that much more difficult. I think there was an easier line to get to that ball, but nevertheless Sergeresh has a chance, and this needs to keep running to make it as straight as he can in the 9 to steal one back. It's knowing your limitations, as Clint says. Don't get the cue ball to do an awful lot more than you ever need to. It's a bit like when I play cowboy in the morning. I watch quite a few of the guys. I mean, I'm no expert at cowboy, but I watch quite a few of the guys where they have. When I look at a shot, I can see there's a line to get to a shot, play a carom, and there's a lot of guys, they don't see it, and they start trying to do things with the cue ball when the natural line is there. It's all about how you hit the object ball first. So Sergeresh has got it back to within 3. This match could honestly go any way here, just depending on how much Sergeresh can make of what chances he's getting. And he's had lots of them, and lots of them have come and gone. Well, a 2-in-1 shot there. And now with this shot, he's way too straight in this 2 ball. And well, that's a much better shot than it looked at that pace to get enough into it. But this 3 ball, just off the rail. It's again all about touch, and the further up the table he goes, the better it is to get good in the 5. And so Billybigrigger's given his chance again. Yeah, the point I'm really making is that when you have a certain shot, sometimes it's difficult to explain, but you've got players trying to do loads of stuff with the cue ball basically when they don't need to, and they don't see an alternative shot. There's been a couple of shots like that where the player Sergeresh is guilty of it, and Billybigrigger's been guilty of it as well. Trying to do an awful lot more with the cue ball when they don't really need to, if they assess the shot. And there's the place you never want to be. And Sergeresh has a thin cut on this 5, and it's not easy, but it's a chance. And this is make or break, maybe at the end of the night for Sergeresh. If he can pinch this one, and that needs to slow up, and that will do. Now again, with this shot, he just needs to roll it in. He's going to leave the cut in the 9. He doesn't need to try and do anything at all with the cue ball. Oh, the 9 ball. 9 ball nearly brushed in off the cue ball there, but Sergeresh is getting no joy here. And he needs to think about the situation. The 1 ball isn't going. Now, why doesn't he push the 9 ball in? He's trying to do miracle shots with the cue ball, and he may well pay the price. There's again another example of a player not using his head, where he's trying to do something silly to get to the 9 ball. The objective there at all costs for Sergeresh was simply to try and hit the 9 ball when he had no chance of doing it. When what he should have done is push the 9 ball in. Again, you've just got to weigh up the situation. And that was a poor choice of shot, because all Billybigrigger is going to do now is knock the 9 ball in. And that is being an architect in your own downfall is what you don't want to be. And he did everything wrong there, Sergeresh. I hope he watches this video, because he's not got his head screwed on. You know, he's playing desperate shots when there's no need to play them. I mean, he's still in the game, but that was not the proper choice of shot there. Again, far too much juice into that. That shot there, even though there was loads of room to draw into it, you want that stun draw shot where you're playing a more controlled draw. You don't get that fizz into it, and when you see somebody getting a fizz into it, all they're thinking about is just getting a big draw. They're not thinking about getting any semblance of control over the draw shot. And you guys now know what I'm talking about with the stun draw. It gives you a more controlled speed on the cue ball, so that it doesn't fizz and start rolling all over the place, because it's immediately one way of getting yourself out of shape. And Billybigrigger can profit from it, because there's no reason why he shouldn't be taking these out. This is the one that's going to be the issue. He's going to have to run the cue ball to get on this 7. But well, Sergeresh has got a lot of things to work on, but I think most of that he has to work on upstairs in the thinking department. Because it's costing him racks. He's frittering racks away here. Where's this ending up? Where's this going? Well, I'll tell you something. Sergeresh is getting handed lifelines here left, right and centre, because this is going nowhere, this 9 ball. This is a horrible shot to try and pick the cut on it. Well, he made a great effort at it, but it is a gift for Sergeresh that he shouldn't have had. But he's got to make the most of them. He's got to take what he's getting, and he's only within 2. And he's been back to within 2, I think, what, 3 times now? Certainly that's the second time that I can count. Maybe it is 3. And he's not getting help by getting nothing in the break again. Now, here's another shot that needs a feather edge in the 1 and run this cue ball right down to the bottom of the table here. A feather edge is what it needs, and a bit of right spin as well to come down into the narrow side of the 8 ball and down to the 6 and 7. That's the line I'd be playing. But he's not hit it. He's way short on it. And he could be in trouble himself here. The only problem now is the touch of Sergeresh. If he gets this too heavy, he's pushing it towards the corner pocket, and he needs to get cover. And he's got it. And that all came about from the fact that Billybigrigger did not get the weight of shot there. He should have been in this corner. Well, that one ball comes back into play. Sergeresh has got a chance. Now this needs a deft little shot to hold for the two if he's taking it into the middle. If he's playing it safe, he's coming up into the table. And that will do. Little cannon onto the three. Now he needs to then just take stock of the situation here. Can he run through to get straightish on the three? He certainly can. 5 ball goes no problem. And if he gets straight in the 5, he can roll through for the 6. But again, he's took his eye right off the ball. Missing a sitter of a 3 ball. And you can't do that, I'm afraid. Has he got away with it? Yes, he has. Now, what can you do wrong to not help yourself? Not taking the shot too quickly is one of the big factors, and not really getting yourself set. And he should never have missed that 3 ball. So ball in hand. Now, if he just plays this plain ball, he's going to come up a line towards the 5. And now he's got too much angle to work with here. Now, bear in mind he's the wrong side of the 5 for a start, but if he just dropped this in dead weight, he's going to give himself half a chance for the combo here. And that 6 ball is going that line when it hits the 7. It depends how hard he hits this. And he's trying to hold it and be gentle, and that's why he's missed it. Because he knew that the 6 ball would have been escaping if he'd played that at a pace to make sure it went in. Now Sergeresh now can get back within 1, but once again he's made a complete hash of the 6 ball. That is an awful miss, Sergeresh. You should be slapping yourself across the head with that one. That's really bad. And there's somebody who's not. There's somebody who's nervous of the situation, and he's not got his mind on what he's doing because he's missed 2 absolute sitters. Well, you can't let your bottle go. You've got to have a tournament face, a tournament mindset. But self-inflicted damage is a major downfall of most players. That's ultimately how you lose at the end of the day, with silly mistakes, silly unforced errors, and Sergeresh is making a bucket load of them. But he's definitely, he's got no confidence in what he's doing. I can tell that. No confidence whatsoever. Because you simply don't miss shots like that. Now we've got a proper mess at the bottom of the table here. Sergeresh trailing by 3. Now again, he can put Billybigrigger in trouble. If he can find that little gap between the 7 and the 4, well, he almost got it. And now he's left Billybigrigger the chance. roll the 3 in, roll out into the table. You don't need to work miracles again with the cue ball. Just let the cue ball run, and you should expose enough of the 4 to play the combo into the 8. As long as it keeps running, the further away it goes, the better the line has it seeing the 4. And that's just working with the angle that you've got there. Now just a gentle roll. Well, again, Billybigrigger's done everything wrong there. All he had to do was roll that in dead weight to leave the 4 ball there. And it's becoming infectious, this. And with ball in hand, Sergeresh is falling apart here like a cheap suit. That is awful. Make sure he watches this video after this match, no matter what the result is. In fact, the 2 of them should, and see where they're going wrong. Because I don't know whether either of them realise where they're going wrong here. But the machinery upstairs isn't working. Let's just say there's mechanical failure here. And the more I see these 2 guys playing, I'm saying earlier on there that, you know, they're a level below the top guys. Well, with what we've seen so far, they are way below that. I mean, not even I would be doing silly shots like that. Got to use the head, and there's a distinct lack of that right now, and it's getting worse, I'm afraid. You know, they're not thinking, they're not taking their time. I mean, there's a shot clock there, and Cobra's right. If you've got a shot clock and it's 30 seconds, for God's sake, use it. That's what it's there for. But anyway, Billybigrigger won't care if he falls over the line. He's got a 4-rack lead, and it's his to lose. Ball in the break. Now again, with this 1 ball, I know what I'd be doing. Everybody else knows what I'd be doing here. See that 4 and 9 ball? I'd be locking that cue ball right down in there. That's where I'd be heading. No doubt about it. That cue ball will be hiding down in the corner. And Billybigrigger would have no shot. And Sergeresh again going for the bank. See, get your opponent in trouble. And this, you know, going for everything, it's too one-dimensional for my liking. There was a 4 and 9 ball sitting there saying, look, come and hide behind me. And Sergeresh had no thought of it whatsoever. Well, I'm always going to say what I see, and you know, if there's options available, and I start wondering why the player doesn't see these things. I mean, there's another opportunity to come down and hide behind the 9 and 4 here. Another perfect line. Going all out for the bank. Get half a cut on this 4 ball down the rail, and he'll probably run out here. Well, he won't now, because he's going to have to really thin cut this 5. This is going to chip off the knuckle. He's going to have to waft this with thin air and nothing else. And in the end, it was inevitable. You know, simply going for everything's not your way to get back into the match. You've got to use the strategy side of it. And no thought of it. And it's another rack that's going to go south if Billybigrigger minds his business. And it shouldn't have been. if I was writing a report card for, particularly for Sergeresh, it wouldn't just say could do better. There'd be a lot more than that on it. But, you know, you've got to reel it in, know your limitations. The opportunity's there for 3 real safety shots. There was 2 great opportunities to go and hide. Not a thought of it whatsoever. And this is a player who probably plays, I don't know what game he plays, but if he plays 9-ball, he's only ever playing it in a 9-ball challenge room, where you basically don't have to have a great deal of strategy half the time. And when as I said as well, I've said in previous streams, doesn't matter how good you think you are in a challenge room, because when it comes to playing in a big tournament match, when it's over a distance, you're going to get found out. Your weaknesses are going to stick out like a sore thumb, because the simple strategy that you use in a challenge room, a lot of these guys are so used to just going for shots that they've got absolutely nothing else in their armoury, and it's not good enough to help them progress in tournaments like this. Hugh, check your messages. Where? What? And Cobra, when you back, fancy some matches when you are. What, you talking to me and Cobra at the same time? All right, I've got a message. I've got a message here from Semi-Pro. I've just checked my phone. I've just checked my. I know what you mean now. I know what you mean now, Semi-Pro. Abby, I have to tell you. Well, I'll tell you in my words, not in Semi-Pro's words, because his is too nice. Abby, get off your arse, Abby Baberstock, and go and do the dishes, rather than sitting around watching this stream. There you are. That's her told. Yeah, but you know what I mean here, Pig. I mean, this is what I'm getting at with these guys. They're so used to running into a challenge room and simply wanting to pop balls. You have to have a match play strategy. There's a difference between a challenge room strategy and a match play strategy, and it's just going exactly that way. Well, more to the point, Semi, is she going and doing it? Is she doing what she's told? I could have put it in another way, but it wouldn't have been quite as delicate. But I'm being diplomatic there. Now, once again, here is an opportunity to hide this cue ball. Well, that's going to work out in his favour, because he's nudged the 5 in, and now he's got to take every advantage he can from it. The cue ball squirted out. He didn't get the cover. Again, he was too heavy, but he's got the bonus of the 5 nudging in. But look at where the 2 ball is. You can just see it, and once again, touch like a sledgehammer. Look at it. No touch at all for Sergeresh. A huge area to drop that cue ball into near the middle pockets there, if the weight was right. And now he's going to try some miracle bank shot. And he's going to fluke it as well. But once again, the cue ball's going all over the place. Well, he might as well go for the double bank on the 4 and make the most of it. Because he might end up pinching this rack yet. Or he could reverse bank it. Well, there we go. And now he's hooked himself in the 6. So all he needs to do now is give it a good bang, get it amped up. And now he just has to hope it holds short of the middle pocket, and it hasn't done. Or has it? Is it thin enough? Yes, it'll go. He may well end up running into the 7 ball here anyway. This could go wrong, or it could go very right. And he's missed the 7, and now he's going to have to bank it. But he's going to have to get the cue ball moving as well, though. What that'll do is a kiss on the 8. Well, the gap now, it goes to 5, and that is getting beyond Sergeresh now. I don't think Sergeresh is going to be good enough to take enough opportunities to narrow this gap as and when he gets them. Meanwhile, Billybigrigger, couple of balls in the break, 3 ball, and what else is gone? The 6 is gone. Can he see the 1? No, he can't. Now, the angle's there to pot the 1 and just run through off the rail and up. And that's, well, he almost got there. Wasn't the easiest of shots in the 1 at distance, but it was a chance. And that will do. And that's, well, this is an opportunity to try jumping with your playing cue. But Sergeresh has picked a line for the hit. Where's the cue ball going? Would you believe it? I mean, look at the pace that went into the middle pocket. And the only saving grace there is that 7 ball's in the way for a 1-9 combo. Billybigrigger's going to have to try and run them. But I do wish these 2 players would. Sergeresh in particular, he should watch the rerun of this. It might be a bit of a nightmare for him, but he should watch it. He's still, if he loses, he's still in the tournament. He's going to go at the 1-loss side, but he's going to have to work on a fair few things and approach the game a bit differently to give himself a chance. There's no point in relying on favours from your opponent all the time. You've got to make things happen for yourself, but at the same time you've got to weigh up the pros and cons. Play the percentage now and again, and have a half decent safety game. Well, it's pretty much beyond Sergeresh now. It's just going to be a matter of time. It's now 14-8. So, nothing happening for Sergeresh at all. It's ball in hand for Billybigrigger. Now the 2 Well, it's not going past the 3, so he's just trying to drop into that gap. He's left a little bit. This needs one of these soft draws, but he's not picked a line. And this needs a little soft draw again. But once again, Sergeresh does not have the touch because it's far too much draw and not enough stun draw. When you know, that's the shot that you need to get to give you better control and work on it. That's a major failing there. That little half a Q-tip below the equator and hit it with a bit more power and you'll get that stun draw to work for you, and it gives you that better control so that you don't fizz the cue ball like that and end up behind the 9. I must repeat myself like a broken record every time I see some of these guys doing stuff like that. And the chance comes and goes and ends with a foul and ball in hand to his opponent. Now, in the to defend these players as well, they don't play probably half as much at this game as we'd probably like to, and that's another issue for many of us, me and myself included. That if you don't have the table time, you lose that touch. The more hours you put into the game, the more you'll get out of it, and the more time you spend away, the more time you have to work when you get back to find whatever touch you've got. So Billybigrigger, 15-8 in front. It's an insurmountable mountain to climb for Sergeresh. And it's only going to get worse by the look of it, because this is crying out to be run out this rack. And the other thing is, the more you play the game and the more you improve your game, the more you run an autopilot. It's like, I keep comparing it to driving a car. You know, everything falls into place. You know, when you're driving a car, your feet know what they're doing. You don't have to think about it. It's learner drivers that always have to think about their feet, think about their mirrors. And when you've driven a car for long enough, you know, everything is automatic pilot. All you have to do is remember the basics each time. Check your mirrors, signal, then manoeuvre. Your feet does what it does in the clutch, the accelerator and the brake, and everything works. It's all mechanical. And pool and billiards is very similar. It's all about the mechanics. The ability to see shots, you know, that vision is another thing. Visualise a shot and use what knowledge you've got to put yourself in with the best chance of getting in the next shot, and if not, making sure your opponent can't. Good evening to Mal. I'm afraid I've not been complimentary here tonight. You know, it's been pretty harsh, but I say what I say. And Sergeresh has been digging holes for himself all night. Billybigrigger's been the better of two players, but Sergeresh, I'm afraid, has not been at the races. He's going to finish up no man's land. Had to work the cue ball a bit more than that. Where's the cue ball going? He's okay, I think. So, Billybigrigger is on the hill. This match has been going for an hour and 20. And, well, it's not been a classic, shall we say. Let's be diplomatic. That 3 and 4 ball, they're not set. There is a wee gap between them though. But the 3 goes into the opposite corner. If you can be really ambitious and drop down that side. Well, that's taking care of that problem. Now, Sergeresh can just roll this in, roll the cue ball over towards the 7. But again, oh no, he really has gone. I mean, it's get this match over and get out of here. That was exactly what that shot was there. Yeah, who? There's a few who's predicted Sergeresh to win this, by the way. I can't remember who they were, but I remember seeing them in the chat. You want to hold your hand up right now and say, you know, never make a never call a result in a match until you've seen the first 4 or 5 racks. Because I'll tell you something, you wouldn't be predicting Sergeresh was going to win that after you'd seen the first 4 or 5 racks. Yeah, you would say that, Mal, having come in the last 5 minutes. But, yeah, Sergeresh, I'm afraid, has been found out. And now Billybigrigger inflicts more pain on Sergeresh. That 3 ball's a big target though. Easy enough to hit it. But not from that line, it wasn't. From straight down onto the bottom rail onto it was far easier. And it's 3 fouls. And Billybigrigger comfortably wins 18-8, but he's going to have to work in his game. And Sergeresh, well, he's got lots to do because it was a poor showing from Sergeresh. Let's have a quick look at the bracket. It's the only match that's on tonight, but thank God it's over, that's all I say. Sergeresh goes over to the one loss side, who no doubt will bump into some trouble soon enough. I don't know where well, the result's not through yet. We'll need to wait to updates to see where he's went. But Billybigrigger goes through, and as I said, he'll play the winner of Hazard and Bankster, who I believe it will be Bankster. It's likely that Hazard will forfeit, and Bankster will be Billybigrigger's next opponent. Now, the one thing I'm going to stick my neck out and say is that Bankster will give Billybigrigger a better game than Sergeresh just did. I don't think he could be much worse. And from what I've seen of him, as I say, I think he's a player that does use his head. And if he does, he'll put up a better show than Sergeresh did. Meanwhile, bottom of the bracket, the winner's side, round 4, Bedhead and Spectre Dawn to set their match. They've got a lot of time to do that. And further up, I think we've got we've got a match set for, as I say, 2 days' time. That's Cobra and Cheeky Chico, but also on the one loss side, an hour before that starts, I believe. Well, we'll ignore that one because that's 2 AM in the morning. Where is it? Yeah, we've got the match between Shibo and Linus, which goes ahead on the same day, a couple of days' time, and at 6 PM it kicks off. So we'll have that match, and then we'll move over to that winner's side. The only other match, I think, is this one between Squirter and Mr. Strokum, which is at 2 AM British Summer Time tomorrow morning, and good luck to them. I'll be I'll be up for work in a couple of hours after that. And the other one is the bad news for Sergeresh is that he's going to be playing Mr. Bill. So I'm afraid Sergeresh is bad news, because Bill can usually be generous as well. He might end up playing a bit looser if Bill's watched this match, but he'll be far too strong for Sergeresh at that rate. So with that, folks, that is us done for the night. Thank you for your company. Sergeresh, if you're listening, go and watch that video. It might be torture to watch it, but you need to pick up a few things for that match against Bill to at least put up a half-decent performance. Now, anything would be half-decent after what we've seen tonight, but good luck to him. Good luck to Billybigrigger in the next round, and good luck to the rest of you guys that'll get matches sorted. I'll hopefully be there for a couple of them. Until we meet again, stay safe, take care, and I'll bid you good night, and thanks for watching.